Hi there, this is Mr. Jacob Nash, and this is a review of Module 8 of Myers' textbook. Want to go to jail? You think you can just get away with some dumb things if you're trying to do a psychology experiment? Can't. But let's talk about something else first. Let's just talk about culture first. That's a different subject, but this is part of Module 8, so let's talk about this first. Well, what is culture? Culture is simply the behaviors, ideas, attitudes, values, and traditions shared by a group of people, and it goes through the generations. There's two kinds of culture that you need to know: collectivist and individualist. I think it's pretty easy to know what that means, but collectivist has group goals, individualist has individual goals. And here's something to note is that all underlying processes of any person is the same. So while psychologists have discovered that there are some differences depending on gender, for example, the underlying processes and all of us are still the same. All right, let's talk about why you can go to jail. Let's see. This guy in this movie is someone taken prisoner, but let's just pretend he's someone that you're doing an experiment on. Here's what you can't do.
You know what we do to prisoners who don't cooperate? We hook them up to the box.
What is the box?
Idiot. Like this, I take one electrode, I put it here. I take the other one, I put it.
So, you think you can do that? You can't electrocute people if they don't cooperate for your experiment. So here's what things you have to do. There's 4 that you need to know. So the APA, you remember that thing? That's the American Psychological Association. It makes guidelines for treating humans and animals. They're kind of similar for both, except, some of these you can't do to the animals because they don't know what you're saying. But for humans, you must have informed consent. This means it must be a choice to participate, unlike what Inspector Clouseau tries to do. You can't just say you have to. They don't want to do it, they can't do it. No harm, you can't harm them. I mean, that's pretty straightforward. Confidentiality. Any personal information must be left private. You cannot release some kind of data that has their name. That will make them mad, and that will make you mad because you might end up behind bars. Debrief. This is telling them what you did after and why. So informed consent before, debrief after, confidentiality and no harm during. You can deceive them, though. That's something that you need to know. You might have a test question. You're allowed to lie to them, but you have to tell them after. So for animals, obviously, you can't have a debrief or informed consent because, yeah, obviously. Or really confidentiality. You just have to have no harm. All right, so let's look at some questions. How has the APA handled ethical issues in research? They have set guidelines for protecting both animals and humans. For animals, pain must be limited. For humans, they must have informed consent, be kept from harm, and their information left private and have a debrief afterwards. Create an example of an ethical principle studying humans. After doing an experiment in which he makes a man believe he has a disorder, Early gives him a debrief of the purpose of his study and the explanation of it. What is the purpose of informed consent? The purpose of informed consent is to be considerate. That's what you need to know. Considerate and allow a participant to choose whether they want to participate and the participants to follow the APA ethical guidelines, and not to the participants and to follow that. That's a separate thing. Sorry. Which ethical principle informs participants about the true purpose of the study? That is in fact a debrief. So pretty short thing. Thank you for watching.